Knicks fans, welcome to another episode of Delusional Knicks Fan Network, where we bring you that Knicks content that you need. Ladies and gents, we finally have Knicks basketball as the Knicks took on the Boston Celtics in their first preseason game. Lord, it feels good to say that. Boston sat out their starting five, so it was the Boston bench. Nevertheless, the Knicks started with their original starting five as last year with Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. To start it off, the very first play was a pick and roll with Mitch and R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett gets to the basket, hit the floater, miss it. And then, of course, Mitchell Robinson with the tip back and the offensive rebound and a bucket. Typically, that's what Mitch was getting his buckets all year, as he averaged 4.5 offensive rebounds per game. So the Knicks started off where they left off last year. Offensive rebounder from Mitch and the tipping. Let's go. Then, of course, the first two guys off the bench was Emmanuel Quickley and Jericho Sims. So Sims came in at that starting four spot. The bench four spot. And then, of course, Quickley was at the point, which was an intrigue lineup. So Tibbs went up with a big lineup, a rebounding lineup, a defensive lineup, which prevailed on the defensive end. But on that offensive end, you had no spacing. So I'm curious to see how well and how much Tibbs will go with that lineup. But I thought it was a smooth lineup as far as Jericho Sims being able to guard fours and switch over to threes if he need to and stay in front. But then, of course, the defensive presence that he brought in the rebounding. So that was a solid thing for Tibbs, is the grabbing rebounds, whether it's offensive or defense. That's taking away possessions for the other team. So I understand why he went with that. But the spacing was kind of bad, which only led to the playmakers being your point guard, which was Quickley, attacking, which is where the offensive came. There was no really point post play opportunities during that time period. But we'll see what that lineup continues and go. But then during that time period, you also had R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett running with that second unit. With all these, with Brunson getting his, with Randle getting his in that starting lineup, they need to find ways for Barrett to get it going. And this is how they're going to do it. They sat down Julius Randle and Brunson around the 6-minute mark. Yet it's preseason, but I figured this can continue to be a thing, putting them down at the 6-minute mark, the 5-minute mark, keeping Barrett in with that, half starting five, half bench, and let him be the aggressor. Let him, facilitate as well as score. And that's what we saw from R.J. Barrett, as he was aggressive during that span. He got to the free throw line, 9 for 9 for the free throw. Now his shooter percentage was bad. As we all know, Barrett kind of starts the season to a slow start, even though he played in the believe it was the World Cup and got a medal. But this is typical R.J. Barrett. Then, of course, what I saw was missing Opie Toppin for me. It was weird hearing alley-oop for Toppin, and it was his brother. But I do miss Opie's speed on that second unit. His three-point shooting occasionally with that second unit is just bringing energy. But we got Jericho Sims, and we see how far that goes. But it definitely was weird hearing alley-oop from Toppin. But we'll see what's going on with that. Then, of course, Tibbs went with a different second unit. Tibbs went with Emmanuel Quickley starting. He went with Dante DiVincenzo, Quickley, Grimes, Sims, and Mitch. Excuse me, I kind of said it quickly multiple times. But Quickley was the highest scorer, as he put up 21. And most of those buckets came in that third quarter when Quickley just took over the game and started getting to the rack, knocking down threes and facilitating as well. I believe he had 3. But we got to look at Dante DiVincenzo during that span. He played 22 minutes, and my first initial thought was, he needs some more time. As DiVincenzo was 2 for 8. He was 2 for 5 from three. He was 2 for 2 from the free throw line. He had some steals. He had some rebounding, which his defense is great. That's one thing. If you're not going to shoot well, you definitely got to play defense, and that's what DiVincenzo did. So right now, what he's bringing is defense, and it looked good. It looked good. But we see how that offense come out as was shooting 49% from 3-pointer last year with the Golden State. But then again, that's a total different offensive scheme, as the Knicks offensive scheme still look very ISO heavy. They need to start creating plays for each other, which certain sets they ran. They definitely had set screens over for Grimes and stuff, but more floppy, more Iverson cuts, more, double screen, double floppy. They should do that just going forward. Then, of course, we had the Evan Fournier sighting, as Fournier is trying to fight for his life, as he had the most minutes all year, as he put up 20 minutes. Still was kind of atrocious. We're going 4 for 10 from shooting, which is obviously 40%. But he also knocked down 3 for 7 from 3-pointers, which is 42%. So that's what Evan does well. Will Tibbs play him more? We don't know during the regular season. Maybe if something happens at the 4 where somebody needs to rest, then you could give Evan those spurts minutes. But I don't really see him getting minutes like that. He's definitely going to be traded. That $18 million will be leaving this off season. But he did finish with 11 points. So to kind of wrap it up, everybody played short minutes. Barrett played 15. Julius played 12. Mitch had the second highest. I just stated that Mitch was lead anchor on defense, and doing this thing as if it was a regular season. 10 points, 3 blocks, 2 steals, 7 rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds. Like this Mitch is in his element. And as long as he stayed healthy, it looked like his wind was good. He wasn't out of breath. So kudos to Mitch. Mitch could possibly 30 minutes per game. Mitch, that's what I'm looking forward to. Efficient Brunson, as what we're going to get all year. In 5 minutes, he went 5 for 6. 1 for 1 for 3, 4 for 5 from the field, 80%, 50%, 100% from 3, 1 for 2 on the free throw. Brunson. Gotta step it up on that, my guy. But he had 10 points with 1 assist. We're taking Grimes. I was expecting a little bit more from Grimes, as he played 22 minutes. So there was a point of time period where it was Grimes, Quickley, DiVincenzo out there. We wanted Grimes to be more aggressive rather than just spacing the floor. But 2 for 6 from the field, 33, 22 minutes. He was 2 for 5 with 40%. So this looked like a regular, typical Grimes game as last year. But 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 turnovers, 6 points. But he was a plus 14. Step that up, Grimes. Step that up. But overall, the defense is exactly where it was last year. So we still look good for that. But Jericho Sims, like I said, played 25 minutes. He led the Knicks with all minutes. So all the bigs pretty much were playing high value minutes. Sims, 1 shot, and that shot was literally at, a late buzzer shot where he shot a mid-range shot, and it didn't look bad. I'm like, oh shit, Sims, okay, looking good. But where he shines at the most was Sims had 7 rebounds, 2 offensive, 5 defensive, 7. He had 3 assists, 1 block. So that's where he's going to feast. That's where he's going to get his. So shout out to Jericho Sims. Manuel Quickley. We all know what Quickley come to give you buckets all the time. Quickley is here to dominate, give buckets, as he led the Knicks with 21 points. 8 of 14 for 57%. 2 for 5 from 3. So he's shooting 40%. 3 for 5 from the free throw. So that is technically 60. So what is with my Knicks in the free throw? It is the free lane. It's free lunch. Eat a lot of lunch. It is free lunch. Get that. 3 assists, 3 steals, with 21 points, and he was a 0 on the plus minus, which is crazy. But that's definitely crazy. Like we stated, Dante DiVincenzo did not have a good game. 2 for 8 on 25%, 2 for 5, but he still shot 40% from 3. 2 for 2 from the line, knocked that down as he put up 8 points. Then he had numerous turnovers with 4, but that's totally fine. Hartenstein came in with 20 minutes, so the bigs were definitely showcasing and showing out tonight. He was 3 for 5 with 60%. He shot 2 threes. So it's looking like Tibbs is giving him the opportunity now to shoot those threes. I know one was like a last minute heave, and then another one was like a catch and shoot at the top of the wing. So jacked him up, man. Jacked him up. That's all I'm saying. Jack him up. We'll see where we go. 3 for 4 from the free throw line. So he's attacking with 9 points. Fournier, we stated Fournier numbers. Deuce came in. Deuce was jacking. Deuce went 3 for 10, 0 for 4. So it's pretty much basic Knicks numbers right now. But Knicks got the W, 114-107. I'm just glad and back that we could talk Knicks basketball. Unfortunately, I probably won't be able to cover all post game for the preseason, as work is going to have me traveling. But I would definitely try to put out as much content as I need during that time period. So, Knicks W, we are back. Welcome, Delusional Knicks fans, to another season of Knicks basketball. Appreciate y'all. Rocking with y'all. I'm out.
You gon' do it if I say so. I'ma do it for the pesos. I fell in love with the bass load. I fell in love with the bass load.